Everybody.
We are live.
Oh, good. Hi, everyone. Welcome to tonight's show. It's 12 p.m. Pacific time, and welcome to Spiritual Talk.
It's 8 p.m. here in the UK. So hi, everyone. Hi, Jane. How are you doing?
I'm great, thanks. How are you, Paul? It's nice to see you back.
Thank you. It's good to be back, and thank you to Alice for being in for me. But she'll be back again.
Yes,
when one of us is off, she'll be back. So say a few hellos, shall we, quickly? Hi, Rhonda and Sharon and
hi,
Julie.
Hi, Jamie Lee.
Jackie.
Hi.
Jackie on there as well.
And Sharon.
Good to be back. It's good to be back, though, Jane.
Wonderful.
We got a great guest tonight, though, haven't we?
We do. I'm so excited that she's on. So her name is Lori Prophet. That is her real last name. She is a master Dowser practitioner, a crystal therapy practitioner, a Reiki master, and a sound therapy practitioner. And she is also a close friend of mine.
So sound therapy practitioner, does that mean singing?
I don't believe it means singing. It could be crystal bowls or tuning forks, that sort of thing.
So if it's singing, I've got to sing, I'm in trouble.
I can sing, but not for people.
Let's get Laurie in.
Sounds good.
Hi, Laurie. How you doing?
Hi, Paul. Hi, Jane. How are you?
Good, great. Thank you. Good, thank you.
Great. Thanks for joining us today, Laurie.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. So you are a master dowser. Can you tell me how?
Master practitioner.
Okay, sorry. Can you tell me why you became a master practitioner? Master dowsing practitioner?
So I'm one long manual away from being a master dowser. What that means is I cover all aspects of dowsing, from dowsing for health, dowsing for water wells, dowsing for earth energy, underground pipes. If somebody is looking for gold or minerals, they should use a dowser, somebody that can use pendulum or dowsing rods to discover the unseen things. That's what dowsing is, really, is connecting and communicating with unseen things. What actually got me interested in dowsing is I was part of a paranormal investigation many years ago, probably about 2009, 2010. And the person who was putting it on, they actually had dowsing rods and a pendulum, and asked if anybody wanted to try them out. And there was one lady in the group that was really proficient with them, and I kind of picked up both. And
we just dropped her out. What happened there? Do you know, I was having a fun. Oh no, hold on. I had a funny feeling there was going to be a blip tonight. I'm so sorry, though. Don't know what happened there, but you disappeared.
Yep.
That was strange.
So I did pick up the pendulum and the dowsing rods, and they kind of moved, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And so I did at that time. I bought my first pendulum. I actually still use it. It was it was a darker color, but in the sun it's got quite light. So I was using it a few years later for dowsing for health. I took a course about crystal therapy, and I learned probably everything that you would ever want to know about the property of crystals and how to utilize them in your life. So that course was, I think, 2013. It was every week for 4 months. It was quite extensive. So at that time, that's when I started using a pendulum for clearing chakras, for clearing energy of the body, to find out which crystals. I do this still. I do a lot of crystal grids around the house. So I use a pendulum to choose crystals to work with. If I'm doing a crystal therapy layout for somebody, then I'll use the pendulum to choose which crystals are best for that person. So moving forward a few years later, I think it was 2015, somebody in the community invited Maria Wheatley, who's second generation master dowser, who lives in Avebury Henge area. And the first thing that she did is she doused to see whether we were all nuts, and discovered that we were quite genuine. So her and Busty Taylor, her good friend, they came to Vancouver Island, and she taught us professional level dowsing course. So we had 2 full days, 16 hours worth of practical training. And then when she said that she would get back to the UK, she would send us the manual. So she had all of our particulars, our email addresses, and everything. And when she got back to Avebury Henge, she sent us the PDF file, which I think there was 12 in our class. And we all printed it out, and we would get together and we'd go out and do our practical work, which was 155 pages worth of assignments. And at the end of it, there was one large assignment that we had to map out the water and the energy lines and one particular global grid in our homes or somebody's home. And once we submitted that and everything was okay with that, then Maria would issue a certificate of professional dowsing level 1.
Okay.
So it was quite extensive.
So the first question I've got, Laurie, if you don't mind me asking this, how does it work? Everyone has got pendulums and bits and pieces. What is it that what makes the pendulum or the dowsing rods actually work? What are they tuning into? Because you can set, is it your intention to find, you said you can find gold, which, by the way, I've made a note of that. I've written it down. So, you said you can find different bits and pieces. Would you be able to find missing people?
You could. There's so many different areas of dowsing. There are some people that focus completely on working with police and finding missing pets or missing people. But keep in mind, a lot of people that do go missing, they have no intention of being found.
Okay.
If that is their intention to not be found, they will not be found. You can find people that want to be found that are just lost, or you can find pets. There's so much you can do. You can focus on a different aspect of dowsing. There's somebody here that completely focuses on healing houses. You can douse for water. You can work with mining companies and find oil, minerals, whatever. But there's just so many different aspects of dowsing that you can really do anything. What you're really doing is you're using a pendulum or a dowsing rod as a visual tool, because we're very sensitive to energy all on our own. Our bodies are sensitive to energy. And just as an example, if you're invited, this is the time of parties, you're going to be, or hopefully we are all going to be invited to other people's homes for the holidays. And let's say you're the first person to get into a home, and you walk in and you think, oh my God, somebody has just like had a blowout fight. Like the air is thick with tension, and you can feel the animosity between people. I mean, that's what our bodies do. They pick up energy all on its own.
Yeah.
So what the pendulum and the dowsing rod do is they're more a visual tool to, because we are visual people. We like to see confirmation. So the pendulum and the dowsing rod are the visual confirmation of what you are finding.
Yeah. So so if you're intuitive and you're really tuned in to your senses, you can, forgive me for saying this, you don't always need a dowser or a set of rods. You can do this intuitively.
You can.
Yeah.
And what I've found is I've been dowsing since 2013 on a very intentional level. And since I met Maria in 2015, I've learned to set my intentions. So when you are handling a dowsing rod or pendulums, the one thing that you want to start at the very beginning is you want to program your dowsing rods or your pendulum so you know what yes is, you know what no is.
Okay.
So
How?
because that's going to be your visual confirmation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've heard, I use a pendulum maybe once a week or something like that. I was told that when you hold a pendulum, that you use your middle finger, which sounds bad, instead of your pointer finger. And the reason why I was told this, and like I would really love some input on this, is that the pointer finger leads to ego, where the middle finger leads to spirit.
Wow.
I've never heard that.
Okay. That's what I was told, because everybody uses their middle finger and their pointer finger. But I use my middle finger because I find I can control it with my mind at times. But if I use my middle finger, I can control it less. I don't know. I don't know if you've heard that or.
I've never heard that before. The one thing that I did learn from Maria is the length of the chain is different for everybody. So if you have a pendulum that has a really long chain, wrap it around your finger. So,
okay.
So that's what I do. And then I have another one here. Just happen to have another one here.
Shocking.
And it says, yes, I just happen to have another one here. So you can use the long chain. I usually use the long chain, the entire length of the chain for clearing and recharging. And I just say that, and it does the motion for clearing and recharging. You can also use the dowsing rods. I haven't picked them up yet today, other than, so at first they're going to go all wonky on you, and then they'll come to center, and you just say, show me yes.
I'm going to try some mine. I'm going to get mine.
Okay, and show me no. And everybody's yes and no, they may not be the same for everyone. So show me yes. And show me no. And the next question you want to ask, 3 questions right off the bat. Am I in balance? Well, that's a good thing. So
that is a good thing.
yeah. And if you don't have to use 2 dowsing or rods, you can just use 1. And show me yes. Show me no. Am I in balance? So actually, when you do buy a pair of dowsing rods, get used to using 1, because then you can always go out dowsing with a friend and teach them how to do. So then you know, it's just a friendly thing.
We've had a few comments already, and it's quite interesting. Rhonda said, can anyone use dowsing rods?
Anyone can. It's just the you just need to adapt yourself, or you just need practice. And the having said that, the one thing that really interferes with dowsing, I wear a Fitbit, but I turn it off. It's not on complete synchronization. A lot of people they're carrying their phone, which is on constant updates or notifications.
Yeah.
So you can turn your phone off to airplane mode. You can turn your Fitbit or your fitness or your Apple Watch or whatever it is that you're using for your fitness or your communication, disconnect it from your phone, so you don't get constant notifications. I think we all want to be connected, but what happens is we're connected to electronics, and we're not really connected physically or intuitively to the people around us, even though, you can send a text message or an instant message to somebody, or just pick up the phone and call them. You can be intuitively connected to the people that are right at the table with you, if some of them would put their phones down and actually interact with each other. So with dowsing, you want to make sure that you don't have any of those interferences around you, because they do give off radio frequencies. So you want to be away from the radio frequencies. You want to make sure that you're completely grounded. I do a grounding exercise if I feel a little out of sorts. I picture myself standing somewhere really nice and warm, as opposed to high winds and snowstorm on the way. So I will just picture myself, roots growing out of the bottoms of my feet, and going down deep into the earth and connecting in with the earth. And as I'm saying that right now, I actually am grounding myself, because I have just set that intention. So I actually physically feel my feet tingling and little roots coming out and going down into the ground, and to lock me in solid into the earth gravity and grounding. So these are exercises that you can do prior to dowsing. I think if you have your mind clear, not filled with, I have to go to the store. I have to get something for dinner. Oh, I got to call somebody else. You want to have your mind clear. What Maria and Guy Underwood and her father, Dennis Wheatley, all the Master Dowsers say is a soft focus. So you're focused on your intention of what you want to do in that dowsing session, but you're not in a trance state or anything like that. You are focused, but not completely focused that your intuition is stifled. So that's how I start my sessions of dowsing.
Cool.
So when your intuition, so say like your intuition says yes and your dowsing rods say no, what do you do?
For me, what I would see if, am I distracted? Is something interfering? Am I thirsty? Am I hungry? Am I tired? If you're thirsty or you're hungry or you're tired, you're not in a good spot to be dowsing. Dowsing does take a lot of energy. What I find is, if you're, like for myself, I think it was a week or so ago, I had a request from somebody in the rural area, even though I do live in Victoria, British Columbia, and we are on local water. That's, you just turn on your tap and your water comes out. It's piped through the city. But there are areas maybe 40 minutes away from Victoria that are on wells. And I had a request from a woman to come out to her property and douse for a new water well, because the current well that they're using is not producing the gallons per minute that they need. So in preparing for myself for that, I make sure that I've had a drink of water, that I'm not hungry, I'm not tired, I'm very focused on what I'm doing. And that's when you get the best results.
Yeah. So really, so the first thing is first, before we prepare to do any kind of dowsing, we need to sit, potentially ground ourselves, but also set our intention.
Yes. So just using a pendulum, I can say, show me yes.
Yeah.
And I get a counterclockwise motion. And I've acknowledged that. So it comes back into waiting for the next response motion, which can differ for everybody. And I ask, show me no. And I get clockwise motion. And once that's acknowledged, then it comes back waiting for the next response. And am I in balance? Yes. So what I'm going to do now is, once I've determined yes and I've determined no, and I find that I am in balance and I am ready to proceed, I set my intention. What is it my intention to do at this time? And then I will ask, I'll set my intention. The pendulum will give me a yes or a no. If it gives me a yes, then I ask, may I proceed? It will say yes. And then I proceed. If I get no at any time, then I kind of go through, okay, do I have too much on my mind? Am I hungry? Am I tired? The other thing, the other thing that can come up is, what are you asking for? Maybe you are not known, or you're not privy to that information. I know we all want to know what our friends and our family are doing. If your intention is to find out what somebody else is doing, maybe that information is not for you. You might be crossing a boundary of checking in with other people's lives that you have no business in doing. So if that is your intention, then you may get no as an answer. You are not ready for that. You're not ready for the information, or you're not privy to the information.
So
I have tried this, you know, like, oh, dang, what's my sister up to now?
so this is a good question, I think. So Jane, not me. Where is it?
Yes, that is an excellent question, and I'm glad that you asked that, because I was, I was on my second level of dowsing. I'm actually with Maria Wheatley. She has a college called Esoteric College. I'm going to go back a little bit, and then I'm going to answer your question. So 2015, I took my first level course with Maria. I sent in my assignment, which was very extensive. It took days and days and probably weeks to get everything that she requested. And that was after, she was here in September, and I think I submitted my assignment in late January. So once she had not corrected it, but she had assessed my assignment, then I was issued my certificate. So I'm talking like 4 months of intensive practical work just to achieve a certificate of professional level dowsing 1. So at that time, Maria asked me to teach for her college, and I didn't feel like I was prepared enough. So I went on to do the level 2 course, and in that course, this is where I'm answering your question, there was a practical exercise where I had to interact with earth energy, a geospiral. So I was on the geospiral in this area of Victoria, and I did a meditation where I'm going to clear my body's water, and then I was going to recharge my body's water with the energy from the geospiral. This is the great thing about dowsing, is you can focus on health or water or energy lines or spiritual dowsing. You can follow any different modality of dowsing and focus completely on that, because they are so intensive and informational. So on this particular day in my level 2 course, I was doing the meditation over the geospiral. And I have to say right off the bat, I am the world's biggest skeptic. I'm a show me person. So I did the meditation, and my responses pendulum was clockwise was yes, counterclockwise was no, and it had been not that way for probably 3 or 4 years. So after this meditation, I get up and I'm walking back to my vehicle, and I have to drive across the island, which I don't know, it's about 45 minutes. But if you get stuck in traffic, it could take you like an hour and a half or more. And I wanted to beat the traffic. So when I got into the vehicle, I said, I don't feel any different. Should I feel any different? Like, I just did this incredible meditation over this geospiral. I feel like I should feel differently. So I got my pendulum and I said, show me yes, show me no. And it was going back and forth. It wasn't giving me any answers at all. So when I got home, I got into the house and I got my pendulum out and I asked, show me yes. And I got counterclockwise. And I said, show me no. And I got clockwise. And I asked if I was in balance, and the answer was yes, counterclockwise. So from that meditation over a very powerful earth energy source, my dowsing response changed completely. And I always check in and ask, show me yes, show me no, am I in balance before every session? Because what happens is they can change from day to day, or they can change hourly, they can change permanently. So you always want to check in what your responses are before you do your session, because yes, they can change.
So I used a pendulum in a really strong thunderstorm one time. I was at home, but the thunder was, lightning was going on around me, and my pendulum would not move. It was just tight like this. It would not move.
And it probably did like I've had this happen in my experience as well. Is it just does like a vibration at the bottom? It
Or jumps.
that happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what happens is the weather does affect our dowsing. The phases of the moon affects our dowsing. The phases of the moon, in particular, with Earth energy. There are some Earth energies that they have both. How do you say that? Not positive and negative, but they have an alternate polarity. And in one phase of the moon, it will be one motion, and then in another phase of the moon, it will be the opposite. So that's one of the things that I've learned in my training, and that I do teach to other people, is what phases of the moon are you working in, and what were your responses. And if you went out at a different time of the month, are your responses the same, or are they going to be differently? The weather affects, if you have sunny, bright, beautiful day, hopefully warm, then you're going to have the optimum amount of, you'll find that your responses are quicker. And when you have overcast days or rain or, thunderstorms, then your responses, they will be slower or not at all. Also with the solar eclipses, because it's not just us in this planet. We have all these other planets in our galaxy, and the power from the sun and the moon and the other planets around us, they all relate to us. And this is what I love about dowsing, is you can connect in with those energies and utilize them for your own healing.
Yeah. So do you find that, because you're a Reiki master as well, so do you find that kind of comes across with that as well? Do you douse someone who might have a certain medical condition, or is that something you do? I know we were going to talk about how to balance our energy centers, or our chakras. I mean, is that also incorporated? Do you use that with Reiki or not, Laurie?
I think with anybody that does any kind of holistic healing, whether it's Reiki, crystal healing, dowsing, massage, sound therapy, they're not just learning one modality. I find most people that are in this field, they're utilizing different modalities. So for myself, with crystal healing, Reiki, and dowsing, and sound therapy, I kind of utilize all of them, maybe all of them in one session, or a mix and match of different modalities in a session. And I think as the training for Reiki is, you are actually training yourself, your physical body, to be a channel of energy. And I think maybe this is why my dowsing is very strong. I'm very, I think out of all the modalities that I do, well, I can't really say I like one more than the other because they all work really well together. So I think the Reiki prepares you physically to be a channel of energy. And if you are going to add dowsing to that as well, I think it'll just make it so much easier because you've already trained yourself to be a channel.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. We've had lots of great questions coming in. Sorry if we've been missing people here. Here's one from Julie. Why is hazelwood used more as dowsing rods?
There isn't a lot of hazelwood here in Victoria, so I'm not sure why that would be used, but
is that more to do with what they used to use in years gone by? I know in the UK.
Yeah, yes, and you know, some people think that metal dowsing rods should be copper because they're more conductive to electricity or energy. Hazelwood, I think in the olden times, maybe there was a lot of it around. Willow is the thing in North America. Willow is preferred over different woods. I think because with willow, it has a higher water content. So if you are looking for wells, the water content of the willow, if it's springy, would be a better conductor or better to locate. Because I think maybe this is where willow and hazelwood, even though they're not the same, they would probably maybe have the same water content. And a lot of dowsers will use witness. They'll have, some of them have dowsing rods that have a little chamber in them. So you could use that as a witness to help you locate what it is that you're seeking. So maybe the hazelwood was used because it had a higher water content. And if they were looking for water wells, it would be, it would act as a witness in the locating of it.
Rhonda's made a good point, actually. Hi, Rhonda. She's made a good point. Can you attach the pendulum to something to make sure that we are not unintentionally moving it? But are we not a part of it intrinsically anyway?
For me, I just make sure that your arm is static. It's your arm and your hand are not moving. I had a friend I was teaching earlier this year, and what happens is I'm already forming the question in my mind, and you don't have to say out loud what your question is. If you're holding a pendulum or a dowsing rod and you form a question in your mind, your dowsing rod or your pendulum is going to give you the answer before you've even vocalized the question. So I found that with this student I had, is she said, just before you finish the question, there's like a little jerk of my hand. And it's like the information's coming down my hand and going into the pendulum or the dowsing rod. She said that you couldn't even see it. It was barely noticeable, but my hand would just do like a little, because the information was coming through. I don't know how it works. It just, you train yourself and your pendulum, you program it. That's the proper phrase to use. If you're going to use, you can program, let's say your friend has a yes that's counterclockwise, but yours is clockwise. And if you're going out dowsing for the day, you can program your dowsing rod to get the same reactions as your friend. So when you're on the same thing and you're asking the question, then the dowsing rod will respond corresponding to who you're with. But you might want it to go back to your normal responses when you're by yourself. It's all in the programming of the rods and the pendulum.
Awesome. So I've put the link in, guys. If you've got a specific question you'd like to ask Laurie, please come in and ask. So we're going to open this right up. Just going to try and make us a bit more interactive. So what has been the most fascinating is the wrong word, but the most empowering experience you've had with dowsing?
I think the one that I just mentioned about dowsing over the earth energy geospiral.
Okay.
The geospiral, it has its own phase, and if you're very fortunate, you can find an area in your location, in your area. You can find a nest of geospirals that all work together. And when you picture the motion, when you understand and you've mapped and you've researched the motion of one of the geospirals in that area, and then you research the motion of other geospirals in that same location, then you'll find that they kind of work together like the mechanism of a clock. So you've got like the little gears that, are moving this way or moving the other way. And depending on what the phase of the moon is, they switch. So I think that in itself, and doing the meditation over powerful earth energies, it's really empowering. Like, people have no idea how powerful it is to connect with the earth energy in a way that, it's not, you're not on your phone, you're not sitting at home watching TV, you're outside and you're interacting with the living, breathing planet that we live on. Yeah. And I think that in itself is the most empowering thing that I have discovered through dowsing.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone's asked how to get in. So Debbie, if you just click on the duck, it should bring you straight in the studio. I know both mine and Jane's page are open. I just asked, do you use pendulum for the missing pets or persons? I know we briefly spoke about that recently.
Yes, you can use a pendulum or dowsing rods for missing pets and missing people. For some reason, there's guys of a certain age on Vancouver Island that seem to go missing, and the problem with that is, no, it's a fact.
I didn't know a dating site.
All over the world, but you automatically think, oh, what's going on at home? Some people don't want to be found. You will not find them through dowsing, pendulum, or dowsing rod.
Yeah.
If you are looking for a missing pet or a person that does want to be found, the best thing to do is utilize map dowsing. Where were they last found, or where were they last seen? You can use a pen as an indicator. Follow along the map on the left-hand side or the right-hand side if you're right-handed, and state your intention. I'm trying to find so-and-so person. They were last seen at this location. Ask for confirmation through your rods or your pendulum. Yes or no. Were they seen at this location? Yes. when they left this location, maybe it's a one-way street or it's like a dead-end street. They could only have gone one direction. So did the person walk this direction and use your pen as the indicator, or you're looking for a lost pet? Did the pet, well, pets, they could go any direction, but did the person go this direction? And then ask your pendulum for confirmation. Yes, they went this direction. So follow your pen along that road. Did they, then you come to, they could either go left or right. So you ask your pendulum, you're asking, you know, the unseen energy out there. You're connecting in with that person's energy. You're asking, where did they go? Did they go left? No. Did they go right? Yes. So then you use your pen on that street and you follow along on that street until you come to another intersection, or you come to a house where they might be. Then you can ask again. And it's all a matter of following along on a map, because the map is how do I say this? It is a representation of the land. You don't have to be physically on the land. You can use a representation, such as a map, to utilize. I always do, if I'm dowsing for a water well or something, I always utilize map dowsing prior to when I go out on the street. So you're back to this person. Did they go left? Did they go right? Did they go to this person's house? Did they go to that person's house? Did they come back out again? And just follow along. Use your pen as an indicator and your pencil as an indicator. And where did they go? You're following their path. Where did they get in a vehicle? Where did the vehicle go? And just follow it along as far as you can until you either find an area where they are, or where, you know, maybe they've gone off the island, you know, as we say here, you're off the island. But that's how I would utilize map dowsing to begin with. And then you could go out to the actual location and use your pendulum or your dowsing rod. I've actually used both at the same time. I use a rod in my right hand and then my pendulum in my left hand. And you can follow somebody's path that way. What that's called is remnant dowsing. So there is, I mean, we're physical, human, energetic beings. We leave a trace of where we've been. It's almost like you get a whiff of somebody's perfume after they've passed by. That could be a good thing or a bad thing, but sometimes you can follow a remnants. This is what happens in spiritual dowsing as well, is you can connect in with an energetic imprint or a spirit that's actually passed. So
yeah, interestingly, we've got I'm sorry, it's come up as lady as I assume it's this lady, Facebook user. Can you see it, Jane?
Yes, I know who that is. Although I won't say her name, and Lori probably knows who she is as well. So Lori, she says, "Hi, Lori. I use a set of Lori's dowsing rods for communicating with spirits during paranormal investigations on Vancouver Island. They are useful tools in my kit."
yes, thank you for that. And what I did a few years ago is I have a friend that does, actually a friend of Jane and myself, that is the head of a paranormal group, all ladies here in Vancouver Island. And she asked me if I would create a set of dowsing rods.
So her name is Andrea Bailey.
Yes, that's who it is. So she asked if I would create some rods for her group. And that's what I did. I created, see, the dowsing rods that I normally use, they have a pretty high gauge. So when I'm out in the field, they're not going to be completely blown around by.
Oh,
Yeah, I know who it is.
okay.
It's Diana.
Okay.
So
Sorry, Diana.
I use a heavy gauge in my dowsing rods because they're not going to get blown around in the wind. But for indoor investigations, you're not really, outside in the wind and the weather and everything. So I made them a lightweight stainless steel, and then I put primer, and I can't even count how many, 12 or more layers of glow in the dark paint on them. So you can charge them up in the sun or under natural light, light from your home, your lamp, and then they glow in the dark for like 6 to 8 hours. They're so cool. But yeah, so that's how you can connect in with spiritual doubt.
Wow. So, Carol's put she loves using the dowsing rods. They are really interesting equipment, and taken seriously, they're really effective in a lot of things. So, I know Ada, she was asking about geospirals. So, for a lot of people to be sitting at home, what is a geospiral?
There are a number of powerful earth energies that connect around the world.
So you mean a ley line?
No, not a ley line. Ley lines can run into geospirals. A geospiral it's a powerful earth energy that's over a large body of water. Water that's not how do I say this? It's like an underground lake, but it's a pocket of water. It's huge. It creates its own energy field, and sometimes over these large bodies of underground water that are inaccessible. That's the word I was looking for. Unless you're drilling into it, they have powerful motion on their own. So we all know, hopefully we all know about the phases of the moon, high tides and low tides. If you live on an island like we do, that's just a fact of life. If it's a new moon, the tides are going to be higher. If it's a full moon, or vice versa, I can't remember, the tides will be lower. So what happens is this large body of water, it creates its own force field, and it changes after the new moon and the full moon. So it reverses direction. So it's either going to go counterclockwise or it's going to go clockwise. That's a geospiral. There's other major earth energies, ley lines. Ley lines in England are pretty well all mapped out. They're not mapped out here on Vancouver Island, and that's what I've been. That's my project. That's what I'm working towards, is mapping all of Vancouver Island's ley lines and earth energies and anything else I can find. How they connect, how you can connect with them. So, yeah.
Awesome. We've almost spent an hour on just ley lines, and we haven't spoke about other things that you do, Laurie. Not ley lines, dowsing, sorry. You was also going to talk about balancing the chakras. Can you give us a little bit more on that, please, so we can do that ourselves at home?
Okay, so one thing that I like to do, if I'm grounding and I'm feeling kind of out of sorts, like maybe I'm, something's just kind of off about me, then I'll balance my chakras. And what the chakras are is it's a Sanskrit word that means energy wheels. we have energy wheels in our body that correspond with major glands. In our throat, it's a thyroid gland. In our heart, it's our heart. The heart chakra, the solar plexus, the sacral chakra, the root chakra, they all correspond to major glands. In our third eye, I think it's the pineal gland, and then our crown chakra is how we connect with the universe. So sometimes, due to our emotions, we can get clogged up with stuff. If you picture the energy wheels or the chakras as, I know this is a really gross description, but it's very apt. Kitchen sink that's got clogged. And in order to unclog it, we clear the chakras. And then once you've cleared chakras or you've cleared energetic negativity or sludge or blocked energy, it's usually blocked energy due to our emotions. So once we have cleared that energy, then we need to replace that. I picture my body as like after a clearing, I picture it as Swiss cheese. So picture your body after a clearing as Swiss cheese, and then you want to recharge your body and fill in all of the nooks and crannies that the clearing has produced. And you're going to fill your spiritual body, your physical body with whatever your intention is. I always fill with love and light and prosperity and abundance and, I'm going to win the lottery or whatever it is that you want to do.
Right.
So, yeah. So you set your intention. My intention is to clear my chakras. And the way that you could do this is you just take your pendulum. I could do this live if you want.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
other people can.
Show us how.
I mean, we're close to the 1 hour.
No, it's fine. It's fine. This is really good information. We've also got requests for asking more about crystals as well.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, so we could be here a long time. So.
Okay. We'll do the chakras first. So you just take your pendulum, whichever hand is most comfortable for you, and you take your other hand. You could put it over your head. You could follow along with your chakras. So I just check in. I'm just trying to get this so you can see. I wouldn't normally have my hand up this high, and it's just doing motion. If you want, you could use dowsing rods. I just don't want to hit anything. Because the dowsing rod will do the clearing and it will do the recharging as well. So I'll do the pendulum because then I won't hit the lamp next to me.
Or your face.
Or my face. Yeah. And I'm surprised there's no kitties. There's no kitties in it. I had one right behind me for the longest time. They probably said, "Oh, I don't want to be famous, so I'm gonna go." So, show me yes. Thank you. Show me no. Thank you. Am I in balance? That's a good thing. After an hour on live TV. My intention at this time is to clear my chakras and rebalance them. May I proceed at this time? Yes. Thank you. So I can check in with my chakras. So I'll check in with the root chakra, which is in your sexual organs. Is root chakra need to be cleared at this time? It says yes. And my sacral chakra, does this need to be cleared at this time? Yes. My solar plexus, does this need to be cleared at this time? Yes. My heart chakra, does this need to be cleared at this time? Yes. You're going to think, oh my God, she's so out of balance. My throat chakra, does this need to be cleared at this time? And my third eye, does this need to be cleared? Yes. And my crown chakra. Yes. And I will explain something to you about this, which is no surprise to me at all. I spent 2 hours in the dentist chair yesterday being fitted for a crown. So I have a temporary crown on one of my teeth, and the impressions have gone to the lab. In 2 weeks, I go back for another appointment to have a permanent crown put on a tooth. So this is no surprise to me at all that I'm completely out of whack. So I can start with the clearing. So I'll put my hand down over my root chakra and I'll ask to clear. Clear, regardless of what your responses are to your yes and your no. Clearing is always going to be counterclockwise. Recharging is always going to be clockwise. So I'm going to clear, and this is where I would use, actually, I'm going to use my chakra colors, and this is where I would use the entire length of the chain to do the clearing. So I'm going to clear, because now I'm utilizing the chakra, the crystals energy. So I'm clearing my root chakra, and I did ground myself earlier, so I'm hoping this doesn't take too long. Don't want to be here for another hour. And so that's cleared. So then I put my hand over my belly button where my sacral chakra is, and we'll clear this energy. And you can, and over the solar plexus, I'm just going to follow along.
So then you just do that for the whole.
Just do this for, just put your one hand as a guide over the area of the body. If you're doing this on a friend, they could be seated or they could be laying down, and you would just, you could be standing behind them. You don't have to put your hand as a guide over each of the chakras. You could just put your hand over their head. And then, so that didn't need too much. And then crown chakra.
And so do you feel different now that you have been cleansed and cleared?
No, I never feel different. I'm so skeptical. But I'll probably feel more alert, and I'll have information downloads. I get information downloads. So now that I've done the clearing, then I can just put my hand over my head and do the recharging. You don't ever want to clear without recharging. You could just put your hand, it's like Reiki, you're directing the energy through your hands, but the energy flows where it needs to go. It's like, and then that's complete. So then I can ask, are any of my chakras out of balance? Yes. Okay. Root chakra, and then I'll just double check and make sure that they're all, and then just do an extra recharging for any lingering. When I'm doing clearing, I picture the energy flowing down to my feet and into the earth to be recycled, because we're all really good recyclers. And then the energy, it's transmuted and it will come back to us in a positive light. And then we're clear. So that's something you could do at home with your pendulum or your dowsing rod. You could do it for yourself. You could do it for your friends or your family. And it's just a really nice touch up. So what I find differently after clearing and recharging, I do Reiki in the shower. So I do this on a regular basis. is you just feel more like I try to live heart centered, and sometimes I have a crappy day like anybody else, but when I feel like I'm out of sorts and I do a clearing and a recharging, then it brings me back to center, and then I can look at things in a more positive light. So you can state your intention, what you want to bring in with your recharging, whether you want to be more heart centered or you want to be have a more positive spin on life. You're bringing that in. Whatever your intention is, that's what you can draw in through dowsing.
Awesome. Well, honestly, we've gone on and we've gone over a little bit. Could you quickly just give us a quick, I think it was Rhonda who wanted to know about crystals and to help with menopause.
What would I would probably suggest, now I just, I get information. Once you become adept at dowsing, sometimes you don't need the dowsing rods or the pendulum. The information just drops into your hand.
Yeah.
First, I thought rose quartz, and then, as I was just about to say rose quartz, bloodstone came to mind. Bloodstone is a great stone for what's the word? Irregularities with the blood flow. So I think bloodstone. It's also good for circulation. I would say rose quartz and bloodstone, and the pendulum says yes.
Perfect.
Awesome. Laurie, we can't thank you enough for coming on Spiritual Talk. It's been absolutely brilliant.
Thank you so much.
We'll
know a lot more about dowsing.
Yes.
We
yes,
do.
Absolutely. And I do teach, I teach for Maria Wheatley's Esoteric College.
Yeah.
Esoteric College is based in the UK, and I'm the only Canadian tutor working for her college. So I can teach level 1 and level 2. And I'm working on level 3. Once I'm finished that, I will be a Master Dowser. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Brilliant.
Wonderful.
Brilliant. Awesome. So it's time to say goodbye already. So, Laurie, we will, possibly see you again in the future.
Yes, I'm sure we will.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Thanks, Laurie.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Awesome. Okay, guys, it's time for messages. We need people to share and share and share and share. If you guys want messages, we can always go home early if you want to. Yeah, it was interesting. It's a really interesting subject, and there's so much. We only kind of touched on little bits and pieces, really. But yeah, as a healing tool as well, it's fantastic, and balancing the chakras there is brilliant. If you missed it, if you can catch it up on catch up, it's well worth looking. It's available on your YouTube page and my YouTube page, which is Spiritual Talk Live. What's your one, Jane?
Mine is Jane Dance Medium on Facebook, and also Jane Dance Medium on YouTube.
Cool. Cool. So it'll be on there. Okay, so we're going to start with messages in a minute. I'm just going to share the link here, and I'm going to kick off with a message. I've got a message from a young man that's coming in from the spirit world. So guys, if you want to come in, we'd love you to come in, because it helps us to connect that little bit deeper and a little bit stronger with the spirit world. Now, I've got a young man coming in that was full of life. I know he passed into the spirit world at quite a young age. Would love a message, says Jennifer. We'll see what we can do. If you understand the message, please come in to the studio. We've shared the link on my page and on your page, also on our YouTube as well.
Perfect.
Okay, just click on the duck and you'll come in. So if you can keep an eye on the messages for me.
Sure, yes.
As I go into this, I know this young man passing was a shock to the parents. I know, and even to this day, it's still a shock to the parents. And I keep seeing him on a beach, and he keeps showing me having a whale of a time, and certainly used to. For some reason, he's showing me these orangey red trunks as well. Quite a fit young man as well. But for some reason, there's a connection with either I'm either Florida way or I'm in Mexico, but there's some kind of sunshine holiday that I'm being made aware of. I know there was a nice holiday. He's also making me aware of his brother. And also the trouble that he used to get in as well as the younger man. I think it's me. Suzanne, if you want to come in, please come in. Such a handsome man, a young man as well. I know there is a neurological issue with this young man as well. I'm not sure if it's him or somebody here, but there is a neurological issue with this. We don't do cards. Oh, actually, you don't do cards, Jane, do you? I don't think you do cards.
No, I used to do cards, but I don't do them anymore.
Jennifer says my brother passed young. It could be Barbados. He's my brother. Or because all I'm seeing is white sand, brain surgery. Yeah, Suzanne, it never works when I come in. It's me. Okay. Just gonna keep going with this because I kind of feel, I'm not sure if I'm with Susanna or not. Also, would you understand the right side of his body? I'm not sure if it was his arm, but there was a problem with his arm. My son on the beach. I can take it all. Was there a problem with his right arm? As he comes to me, I've got a chair here that sits next to my desk. He's actually sitting here. And I know he's a handsome young man because he's making me aware that he's quite handsome as well. And he's gone on since then. Who has a broken wrist? Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. But this sense of humor with him is such a great, and such a his attitude is quite a wise young man with him. So there's a lot of depth to this young man, as well as sort of acting his age, if this makes sense, like a model. Absolutely. Good looking chap. You could quite easily see him on Baywatch. No, there's a thing from the past. Also, I know he's trying to connect with mum because he's making me aware of mum. I kind of feel he's trying to talk about his brother. Was a comedian in the second city of Chicago, highly intelligent, absolutely. He's trying to talk about his brother. Would you understand that his brother feels like he's been a bit left behind or he's missed out on something? Okay, do you understand this? Because he's talking about brother slightly, not concerned, but worrying that he feels he's missed out. And there's an opportunity he's talking about. Yeah, two brothers. There's one in particular, and he's a little bit fiery at times. And yes, two brothers. Okay. Yeah. Do you understand this information? He's talking about one of his brothers, Suzanne. And he's talking about one in particular. It keeps getting that kind of feels like he's been left behind, but he hasn't been left behind. It's some kind of illusion, or he's caught up in himself. It's not self-pity, but it kind of feels like he needs more a motivation to get him kick-started. Do you understand this? It's gone quiet.
Yes, she hasn't responded.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, his brother's in could be the oldest. Career change, maybe. Can you tell him this is coming in from his brother? Really strong, really passionately as well as he sits next to me. I can feel his energy just here. Kind of just want to pick him up off his chair and stop feeling sorry for himself and just be motivated. And he's absolutely fine. Some things will be revealed. He's making me aware that what's not clear now will become clear very soon. it's almost like the right thing happened at the right time, even though he's not in that right space. Okay, and that's what he's really concerned about. Forgive me. He's also making me aware of Dad. I'm not sure if it's his dad or granddad, but Dad having a problem with his. I'm not. Is that right or left side? I want to go into one of his lungs. Does this make sense? Talking about the lung, his brother's hurting. Makes sense. Great. Also, and for you, he's just said, "Mum, there's no time like the present. There's no time like the present." I know there's some talk about holidaying next year, and also things not being the same, but not lung. I don't understand. In my vision, I'm seeing what looks like a lung on one side of his body. I know the gentleman is still here. He's talking about the gentleman. It feels like Dad is still here, and it's his lung. There's a problem, and if I've got it wrong, I do apologize, because they don't. It's us that gets it wrong, not them. So, and they never give doom. It's just concern. They'll never give us bad news. That's not how spirit work. They only come with love. Okay, they're here to encourage us and help us. They're not here to worry. Dad is here yet. Knee issue. Well, there's something about his right side and his lung. I'm not sure whether he's any guidance. Okay. Jennifer, I can only give you what's coming in from spirit, and I've got this lovely young man that needs to connect with his mum. So if we get something for you, we promise we'll give you a message. Okay, but right now we're connecting with Suzanne's. I believe it's your son, Suzanne. Okay, but do you understand Florida or Miami? There's some kind of connection, and also going over to Mexico, because I kind of feel like I'm going out of the country into Mexico as well on some kind of travel. Oh, okay. He's gone. That's it. He's gone. Tell Mum I love her. That's it. Boom. He knows what. Tell Mum I love her. I just flew
wow.
days ago. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, he's absolutely with you. He's literally just flown out the room. Okay. Just tell Mum I love her. Just tell her how much I love her. I'll leave her love. He loves Florida. Oh, he loves Florida. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, just I love you, Mum. That's all I got. Guys, go.
Thank you.
Okay, so over to you.
Oh my goodness. So my readings are a little bit different, but during that whole session, I was freezing cold. I was like, I could just feel this cold breeze coming in, just very powerful. So I don't know, with my readings, I really need a question asked, or I don't know, Paul, if you want to pick somebody.
I don't know if you're aware right now, you have got an older lady next to you that's giving you information.
I do?
Know if you're aware of guides. Yeah, there's a real old soul standing next to you right now. I can really feel her power, almost like a goddess energy with her as well, but I can feel her coming in alongside you, which is why you're getting the cold down one side.
Very cold. It's very cold.
Absolutely, which is generally a high guide. Although it can be the opposite, it can also be very, very hot with a higher energy.
No, I usually get the cold.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, it's yours, isn't it? It's yours. Carry on.
Yeah, you can tell me about the goddess if you want. I don't know anything.
What I wanted to say to Julianne Barber, who's just popped up, don't forget, Julianne, I owe you reading. You didn't tell me if you wanted it gifted or not. Just let us know, because I owe you a reading, okay? And also the lady that won last week, I wasn't sure who it was. If she's listening tonight, I also owe her a reading. So I've got a backlog. I need to sort it out. And it's your turn this week, Jane, isn't it?
It is, for sure. Yes, it was Dion Bali, I believe, from last week. That I did see her on here earlier, but I don't know if she's still here. But
yeah. Okay. I'll get I think Alice knows, so I'm not sure. We'll get Alice to ask her. So did you want to ask a question?
Sure. Yes.
Work that way. So if you got a question for Alice, we'll do it that way.
Yes. Do you want to do the bounce off again? Like Zoe has asked a question.
Yeah, go on. Where's Zoe's question? Okay. I had a dream about giving birth to twins, a girl and a boy. It was so realistic about what does it mean? Could I even smell while in the dream? Interesting.
I had a dream about giving birth to twins, a boy and a girl.
So obviously you have to be with that. You have to be kind of sensible with our dreams, because some of it can be a little bit of psychic junk. You know, it could be also be like our hopes and our fears, etc., etc. But when they're really real like that, it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. It could be a divine masculine and feminine thing going on. What do you feel with that, Jane?
What does it mean? I just keep getting like, I feel like something is coming in. So I don't know if Zoe has children or not to begin with. I think that the twins represent something rather than actual twins coming in.
Okay.
Is how I feel it to be.
Yeah, there's lots of dream ideas and stuff out there. So Google dreaming of twins, Zoe, see what that feels like to you. I don't see it as a premonition, but my partner has twins, and good luck if you're having twins. That's all I'm going to say. I couldn't do it. I could never do it. Yeah, says the man. Also, Rhonda's asked a great question.
Oh, yes. Was it also dead in car with me? My daughter's stuff today.
Is that wedding or wedding?
Yeah.
Because that makes a difference, you know.
It does make a difference.
My dad used to do the weeding in Steph's garden. Potentially, it was normally when we talk about our loved ones, it will draw them in closer, 100%.
So yeah, I'm just asking, was the dad in the car? And I just hear right next to you. So yes, I think he comes in quite a fair bit into Rhonda's life.
Yeah, and
hangs out with her. I just heard hangs out with her.
And the more we become aware of them, the more open we become to the spirit, the more we're able to they come to us even more and more, don't they, Jane? They'll come more and more. Tracy's asked a great question. Do loved ones who have not been nice to you on earth have to address their issues before moving up the levels in spirit?
From my understanding, they do. Correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, but from my understanding, they do. Just like how we have to, before we can reach another level, we go through multiple lessons until we learn the lesson to reach the next level. What?
I kind of struggle with this because it's a really difficult question. Now, in my experience, I won't name names. I've actually seen people that have come close to me that have been gangsters in this life, and they come in like a shadow. And interestingly, when they come in like a shadow, I don't think it's evidential. I do think it's their vibration. Maybe I'm just more aware of it because there were darker people in life. I don't know. But it's interesting. They tend to come in around with somebody with light. There's a lighter soul, more light around them. Whether they're learning on that side of the mistakes they've made. But here's another thing. But how do you know the soul hasn't asked to have that experience?
That's true.
So therefore, on a karmic level, and this is where it gets really complicated with karmic. And karma is an Eastern philosophy. And the problem is it's so in depth. It's not that straightforward. It's really not. And there's two elements to karma. There's our personal karma, then there's our karma and what we do for humanity. So this is where it all gets mixed up. So how do you know certain people weren't, like, for instance, let's think of someone like a ruthless dictator. How do you know he didn't volunteer to do that job, to teach humanity, you know, how to love and be compassionate rather than make some of the severe mistakes that humanity has made? This is the problem. So I think on a lot of things, on a lot of levels, I think it's the biggest thing that we can do for our own personal growth is not to judge someone. I think once we judge someone, we then are judging ourselves, and we have to be really careful what we're doing. There's so many. I mean, I think it was Jesus that quoted, "He who be without sin cast the first stone." It's almost like a scene from Monty Python, isn't it? When these guys were about to stone this prostitute, and Jesus rocks up. Hang on a sec, guys, and they all drop the stone and walk away. So we have to be really careful with that. So I have had an experience where there was one chap that came for a reading, he was blown away because his granddad showed himself to him at the end of his bed. But he said the strange thing was, Paul, behind my grandfather was all these different images of my grandfather's life going off, almost like little mini TVs, seeing his life in review, which is really interesting. Really interesting.
I read for a client a while ago, and her mother came through, and I described her mother to her, and she kept saying, "No, that's not my mom," because I was seeing the mom is pretty much like a free spirit enjoying life, and she kept saying, "No, that's not my mom." But her mom kept showing me her as she was now, and then the client kept saying, "No, that's not right." But then the mom showed me her standing behind two very tall pairs of legs, cowering like a child. And as soon as I said that to the client said, "Yes, that's my mom." So the mother in spirit had learned some lesson in order to level up, is how she made me feel. So
but then I've come out of my body, and I've been more aware, and those that have done trance, when I've come back into the body, I've been aware of everything, although nothing, but I'm just aware of everything. Kind of sound like a hippie. I'm sorry, guys. There's nothing wrong with hippies, by the way. I love hippies. But I kind of felt like I'm omnipresent. I could feel and sense everything, connected to all things. Surely once out of the physical body, that's exactly what the soul goes through. It has this awareness. So when I get information from the spirit world, it's not necessarily they're a bad person. It's evidential. It's what they did here on earth. How do you know that soul is not an ascended master? We don't.
That's true.
And that's the problem. We have limited understanding from our perspective. This is why it's always good to have good communication with your guides, for your teachers to teach you, because there's only so much us here on earth and our experiences that we know of have. So we can be quite limiting. That's why I always think it's good to have a great relationship with your team. God, I'm waffling. I'm so sorry, guys.
You know, as you're talking, I keep feeling that cold intensity is like increasing. So yes, I get it.
Okay. Sorry if I've missed. Oh, hey, go. Jamie Lee, will my family grow bigger next year?
I heard no, it won't.
Oh, I'm not being funny. Let's do a pendulum.
Yeah.
We could do the pendulum. Come on, everyone join together. We're gonna
get your pendulums out.
So make sure we get a yes or a no first.
So.
Right, sorry, Jamie. I've got to. So show me a yes. That's clockwise. Okay, so show me a no. Anti-clockwise. Okay, so here you go, Jamie Lee. You can do this yourself at home, by the way, guys. Yeah. Is Jamie Lee family going to grow bigger next year?
No, I got no.
Oh, see, I'm getting yes. Oh my God.
See, my yeses are always back and forth, and I have like 5 pendulums.
Yes, Jamie Lee. That's strange.
So maybe we're not meant to know. Maybe Jamie Lee is meant to. You know, sometimes spirit will not answer questions because, we don't need to know everything. We can't see the full plan ahead of us. We're not meant to.
Yeah. Any more questions? We got a little bit more time. Has my sister not had around her? Has been by. Oh, I'm not sure. Jay, most even sitting in the lounge. Okay, one here. Mixed signals. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Jamie. Brilliant. Don't ask to do dowsing. Okay. Lesson for the day. Paul cannot do any dowsing. Okay, here's one from Sharon. Oh, sorry. Sharon, Jane, most evenings when sitting in lounge, I feel a freezing cold like atmosphere. Would that be someone visiting me?
I would say definitely it is. Definitely it is. For me, I only feel coldness coming in from the left. I don't know why that is. Left and right doesn't mean anything to me. I'm right-handed, but my body is left side dominant. So it's very possible that would be somebody coming in to talk to you and to visit you. So yes.
And Julianne has put, why would I get to smell a smell of smoke. Quite simply, it's one of the first or the easiest psychic senses. And when we smell our loved ones, it could be aftershave, it could be the good old Spice your granddad used to wear. It's really significant. Smoke is a good one, smoking, and certain smoke as well, cigars, pipe, you know, you can really tell it really does help. But yeah, I just said the same. I smell cigarette smoke sometimes for days or weeks, even when I sleep. That's interesting. So, and the problem, of course, we've been having recently is obviously COVID, losing our sense of smell, but it's still there for a lot of people, even though they've had COVID. Carol's asked, I feel someone sitting in my bed. Is it what I think it is? And I feel them touch my face, such a gentle touch. Now, I've had a similar experience. And I felt the bed go down. Someone put their arm over me, and I thought it was my daughter when she was a lot younger, and it wasn't. There was nobody there. So it is a phenomenon. Without actually being there, connecting to it, I'm not sure who that would be. If it's a pleasant experience, yeah, absolutely, a loved one. Yeah. And Rhonda's saying the same. They often smell Dad's roll up ciggies. It's comforting. Anyway, guys, it's we've been going on and on tonight. It's been brilliant. It's been a great show as ever. We've had some great interaction with you guys at home. You know, if you get any ideas of people you want us to interview, just send us your messages. You know, we love interviewing different people. We want to explore everything within the spiritual community. We've got some great guests coming on. We've got a lady who does trance, psychic surgery, so that's going to be awesome. Also, next week, we've got the lovely Shelley Yule coming on. She's also a psychic artist, medium, etc. So it's going to be brilliant next week.
We also need to pick somebody for me to read.
We do. That's a good point. And as I was silly and forgetful, as usual, I think I'm getting Alzheimer's or something. I'm going to pick someone randomly for it's terrible, really, because, hang on.
People did share. They shared earlier on in the.
I did. Can I give you? I'm just having a quick check who shared. Can I give you? I'm just quickly looking at who shared. Thank you, everybody who shared. Where is it? Gosh. Can I give you Dot Cooper?
Sure.
Dot Cooper. If you just let us know, you can contact me or Jane via Facebook. Hi, Mark. Mark's just popped on. Yeah. So, Dot, that would be fantastic if you're still watching. Congratulations. Well done. So, it's that time, Jane. We've got to go again. We've got to get off.
It is. It goes by so fast.
Yeah, we've got to get off and get back to watching England.
And I have to go shopping, so.
Fair play. Okay. Well, we'll see everyone next week. Take care, everybody.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.